In this video, I'm going to show you guys on how to update your Nintendo Switch offline to 12.0.0 firmware. So before you guys proceed, make sure you guys already have a hackable Switch unit. So I'll be using a Switch version 1 in this video. Also, if you guys wanted to follow this, make sure you guys already have a full NAND backup in case that something's bad going to happen. So in case that if you guys end up breaking your Nintendo Switch, so you guys will have your old NAND backup, you guys can restore it back, and that will help you guys from breaking your Nintendo Switch. Alright, so before we start this video tutorial, I just want to show you guys my system firmware really quick here. And now as you guys can see, I'm currently running version 11.0.1 with the old atmospheres 0.18.1. Alright, so this is for those of you guys that are on a lower firmware such as 11.0.0 or lower. So you guys need to use the all custom firmware file, since that on the latest atmosphere 0.19.1 we have an issues where you guys trying to launch the homebrew and it end up getting the crash issues. So that's why I asked you guys to use your all custom firmware files in order to launch the Choidogen X on our Nintendo Switch. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this tutorial. Alright, so first off, what you need to do is you need to download two files, which is the Choidogen X, and the second one is the firmware itself. So I will not leave any links for the firmware itself, since that I don't want this video taken down for any copyright issues. So you need to find the firmware yourself. So I will give a hint on the description box down below for where you guys can find the firmware itself. Alright, so here are the Choidogen X, which is come with a zip file. So I will leave a link on the description box. So once you guys have downloaded the Choidogen X, you need to extract it into your desktop first. And now for the firmware file, if it come with the zip files, you need to create a new folder first. And now rename the new folder to 12.0.0, or you guys can call this any name you like. So it comes with a folder inside the 12.0.0 firmware files. Just go ahead and extract the folders to your desktop. So if it doesn't come with a folder, you guys need to create a folder. So it will be needed if you guys create a new folder, since that the Choidogen X will find the update itself using a folder. Right, so these are the two files that we need in order to update our Switch offline. Now go ahead and connect our Switch SD card to our PC. So now I might want to reboot my Nintendo Switch here. And now I'm going to take off my Switch micro SD card from my Nintendo Switch. Right, so as you guys can see, here are my Switch SD card on the left side, and this is all the custom firmware files which I already have installed on my Switch SD card here. Now what you want to do is you need to drag and drop the 12.0.0 firmware files to the root of your micro SD card. Alright, so once that is done, now what's the next things that you need to copy is the Choidogen X, sorry. Now go ahead and open up the Switch folders on your micro SD card. Now go ahead, drag and drop the Choidogen X onto your Switch folders on your micro SD card. Alright, so that is done for our SD setup here. Now we may disconnect our micro SD card from our PC. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put it back to our Nintendo Switch. Now what we need to do here is we need to boot our Nintendo Switch into a custom firmware. Alright, so now once you have boot your Nintendo Switch into a custom firmware, so now what you want to do here, you need to launch the homebrew menu by navigate to the album. Now you guys can see there's the Choidogen X. So like I said, if you guys use the latest atmospheres, this will not work. So make sure you guys do this with using the all signature patches. So if you guys use the latest atmospheres right now, you cannot launch the Choidogen X. So if you guys want to try it your own and test it yourself, it will end up getting the crash issues. So now go ahead and launch the Choidogen X. Since that I'm using 11.0.1 firmware, so there's no problem at all if I'm trying to launch the Choidogen X here. Alright, so now you guys need to find the firmware folders. So you guys can see on the very first here, I have my 12.0.0 firmware folders. I'll go ahead and select it. Alright, now next things you need to tap is the choose here on the very bottom on your screen, switch screen. I'll go ahead and select the choose. So now it starts to detect the NCF files. So if you guys don't have any problem with the NCF files, it will tell you guys that none NCF files error on the top here. So here it will ask you guys whether you want to update your switch without the exFAT support on the very left, on the left section here, and on the right section here with the exFAT support. So you guys can use your memory card if you format your memory card into the exFAT format. Alright, so now I will choose with the exFAT format. Alright, so now once that is done, you guys need to tap to select firmware. Alright, so you guys can see there's no problem while it's trying to read all the firmware files here. So on the left section here, you guys can see there's the prevent fuse burning, which is it will enable the auto RCM. So this, you guys don't need to disturb anything on these settings, since that if you guys don't want to burn your switch fuses, and if you guys are planning on to downgrade your Nintendo Switch if this 12.0.0 firmware is not stable yet, so you guys can downgrade it, then you guys need to select the auto RCM. So if you guys turn off the auto RCM, it will burn your switch fuses, which means that you cannot downgrade your Nintendo Switch back to your previous firmware. So now what you want to do here, you need to Right, so once that is finished, now what you want to do here, you need to tap to reboot, and then I would like to completely shut down my Nintendo Switch. Right, so like I said, I'm using the old custom firmware files, which means that I cannot use it on 12.0.0 firmware. So I will leave a links down below where you guys can follow instruction on how to install a custom firmware for 12.0.0 firmware. So now what I want to do here, I want to install the latest custom firmware on my microSD card first. So I will be back after I've installed the custom firmware on my microSD card, and we will see the result of this. Alright, so I'm back with after I've installed the custom firmware on my microSD card here. So now what you want to do, you need to boot your switch into a custom firmware back. Alright, so now I already have boot my switch into a custom firmware. Since that I already selected the auto RCM on, so it won't use RCM jig in order to boot my switch into the RCM mode. Now you guys can see my switch is now successfully boot into 12.0.0 firmware with the atmospheres 0.19.1. Alright, so these are the issues that I wanted to show you guys, where you guys want to launch Trojan X, and here is the crash issues on this latest atmospheres custom firmware. Alright, so that's all for this video. So if this video is useful and helpful, please do leave a like and comment down below if you guys have any problem. So I will see you guys on the next upcoming videos. Goodbye everyone.